Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here today. If you are new to my channel, if you are interested in tarot readings, unsolved crimes, true crime stories, please consider subscribing. I really do appreciate that. I do want to let you guys know that from here on out, I am going to be getting the videos out once a week for sure. The day is going to be Monday. However, if I can get it put together and uploaded on Sunday night, I'll do that. But definitely I want you guys to know that a video will be uploaded every week. And so Monday is the day that I'm shooting for. That gives me kind of all weekend to record it, because sometimes I get interrupted and have to stop and whatnot. And so that kind of gives me the full weekend to do that, and then I can upload it. So I wanted to let you know that. And last week's video, I did let you guys know that I was going to be having Valentine bundles on my Etsy shop. And I do have those up now. I'll also add that link in the description box. But, excuse me, I do have Valentine gift bundles. It's including 2 8-ounce candles, 2 wax melts, some chocolate truffles, and a Hershey Kiss, and a large Hershey Kiss, and a personalized card, and everything's gift wrapped for you. I did try to go on to Etsy and compare and see what else was out there. So I really wanted, excuse me, I really wanted to make the focus be on the candles and the wax melts. And so that's up there. You guys can go there and check it out if you want to. And I also have tarot candles up, which I'm so excited about. I've been wanting to get these tarot candles made for a while. I was happy because I bought the stickers, the tarot stickers that are on the front of the jars. I bought them from another fellow Etsy shop owner, which I love doing whenever I can, buy things from a fellow Etsy shop owner or buy small business. I try to do that. So I was happy about that. So those are up there as well. Plus I have all of my new spring and summer scents available. The 4 that I uploaded yesterday is, it's called Summer Scoop. However, I named it Strawberry Shortcake because when I opened it up and I smelled it out of the bottle, it smelled exactly like strawberry shortcake. It smelled like the fresh smashed strawberries that it just had that strawberry shortcake smell to it. And so that's what I named it. So I have that, and then I have April Fresh Downy, which I really love. Nobody wants to be reminded of Laundry Day, but you know what? It smells really good, and I really like it. It's got a nice, clean, fresh scent to it. So that's up there. And then I have a lavender and amber, which is something that is back in stock. Somebody had requested that I have that back in stock, and so I did put that back in. That's a very nice, clean, fresh smell as well. And then I have Angelic Rain. Again, it's a very light, clean, fresh smell. So those are all up. So I will put that in the link in the description box. If anybody goes and checks it out, I thank you so much for that. And what else was there? I think that was it. I think that was everything. I do want to send out some good vibrations and energy to everybody, to all of you, because we are in some strange times right now. I would do a reading on politics. However, with the censorship right now, I'm a little bit concerned about doing it. I don't know. I just kind of feel like things are going to be okay in the long run, but we've got a couple of things. We've got some battles that we're going to have to overcome. It's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. That's the way I feel. That's what I'm picking up when I pull cards on it, because you can better believe that I'm pulling cards almost daily on what's going on around us. And so, I just pray that everybody stays safe. Now's probably not the best time to go traveling or to go into big groups. Stay home if you can. If you're able, if you're in a situation where you can stock up on a few groceries for, at least a week or so, I would do it. I have yet to do that myself, but if you can, I would. And so without going on and on and on, let me get into today's story. It's going to be about the disappearance of Brian Schaefer. So this was an actual case, again, that was requested by a viewer. And, she wrote on the last video, which was I covered the smiley face killer or killer theory. And so this viewer had written on that particular case and asked if I would cover Brian Schaefer. And she sent a link to a documentary. And little did I know that it was going to take me down a deep, dark rabbit hole. So thank you very much. But wow, this case, man, it is just... And when she sent me this link and when she mentioned the name, I remembered it. I remembered hearing about the case and watching something about the case, but it's been a long time. It's been probably a couple of years since I've watched anything on it. And I didn't really know too much about it. I didn't know what happened or how he went missing or anything like that. And so I did go back and watch this just so that I could get the names and the dates and just some of the basics, just to know the key players in this case. And wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of theories out there as to what happened to this young man. But I will catch myself going on about the story of Brian Schaefer for 25 minutes before I get into reading cards. And I know that you're here to, see the cards. So I won't get too much into the background of this. If you have an opportunity to watch any videos about Brian Schaefer or any documentaries, I would suggest it because it's a very interesting case and we have no idea what happened to this man. All I can say is that this was a young, intelligent, educated, attractive man who had a bright future ahead of him. He had a girlfriend that they think maybe he was getting ready to propose to. He was in med school, so he probably was going to be a doctor. This guy just seemed to have it all, right? His girlfriend at the time went on to become, I think, she did become a doctor. It might have been a gynecologist or something along those lines, but she too was in medical school at this time, and she ended up graduating, and she did get married, and she has 2 kids. But this would have been a power couple. So kind of curious to see what happened. I don't know. So I am just going to read the background part on Wikipedia, which is the very basic information, and then we'll get right into the cards. All right, so the disappearance of Brian Schaefer. Brian Schaefer, born February 25th, 1979, was a medical student at Ohio State University. On the night of March 31st, 2006, Schaefer went out with friends to celebrate the beginning of spring break. Later, he was separated from them and they assumed he had gone home. However, a security camera near the entrance to a bar recorded him briefly talking to 2 women just before 2 a.m. on April 1st, and then apparently re-entering the bar. Schaefer has not been seen or heard from since. The case has received national media attention. Schaefer's disappearance has been especially puzzling to investigators since there was no other publicly accessible entrance to the bar at that time. Columbus police have several theories about what happened. Some interest and suspicion has been directed at a friend of Schaefer's who accompanied him that night, but who has refused to take a lie detector test regarding the incident. While foul play has been suspected, including the possible involvement of the smiley face serial killer, it has also been speculated that he might be alive and living somewhere else under a new identity. That is a very, very, very basic explanation or kind of summary of what happened to this guy. I will say this, though. That night, he went bar hopping with his friend Clint and another female friend named Meredith. And, they started this evening at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, and apparently it was kind of like a strip. I imagine it being like, a busy street with, bars and different places to eat or whatnot. And they started their evening out at this particular bar and then, took a shot or whatever and then left and made their way up maybe a couple of miles on the road, hitting different places, going in, having a shot, leaving, whatever. And then by the end of the night, getting close to 2 a.m., they make their way back to the original bar that they started at, which was the Ugly Tuna Saloon. So it was there that they kind of separated. I think I read somewhere that Brian was seen talking to some of the band members. But anyway, 2 o'clock comes. The bar is getting ready to close. Clint and Meredith can't find Brian anywhere. They decide to go wait for him outside of the bar, thinking that he would eventually make his way out. He doesn't. They assume at that point that he decided to walk home. Apparently, he only lived a couple of blocks from this area, so it was plausible for him to do that. They decided that must have been what he had decided to do, and they left. Red flag number 1. That right there is, that makes me question, did he say throughout the evening that he may walk home? I mean, did he give you any indication that he wasn't going home with you? It's odd that they just, I don't know. This is 2006, so I'm assuming he had a phone. Did they try to call him and say, hey, where are you at? We're outside waiting for you. Even at the end of the night when they couldn't find him, if he did in fact live just a couple of blocks up the road, would it have killed them to maybe drive to his apartment just to make sure that he got there? If he had been inebriated, maybe that would have been a good idea to maybe just say, hey, you know what? Just to be safe, let's drive over to his place and make sure he got home okay. The fact that they didn't do that is very concerning. Big red flag there. So anyway, they decide to leave. They assume that, Brian went home, and all day Saturday, his girlfriend and his father were calling him. He wasn't answering the phone. All day Sunday, they're calling him. He's not answering the phone. I think the girlfriend might have been out of town visiting family, if I remember correctly. I don't know about the father. I'm surprised nobody went to check on him. I don't think they checked on his apartment until Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a little odd. But Monday comes. He was supposed to go on a trip to Miami, Florida with his girlfriend. It was the beginning of spring break. They were going to go out there. It was kind of suspected amongst the family and friends that he may have been planning to propose to his girlfriend. So the girlfriend goes to the airport and she's waiting there to meet him, and he doesn't show up. And so that's kind of when all the red flags went up for everyone, and they ended up reporting him missing. I think that the father did eventually go to the apartment. Didn't look like he had been there at all. I think the bed was made. Nothing looked amiss. Nothing was missing. It was just really odd. And so that's kind of where it kicks off. And so there's a lot of theories out there. Apparently, he had this idea of or a fascination with tropical warm places, and he kind of had hopes of maybe being part of a band and living on some sort of tropical beach and enjoying his margaritas and just having a swell time. There's talk that maybe he left intentionally to do just that. Maybe he didn't want to be a doctor. Maybe he felt like, things were just not what he was hoping that they were going to be. I don't know. So there's that. There's also, theories that maybe he just kind of had like an overwhelming moment. His mom had passed away just a few weeks prior to this, and he was, I don't think I read anything where he was taking it extremely hard, but that is fresh. That's a couple of weeks. That's fresh. I've lost a parent, and 3 weeks in, you're still in the shock phase. So I don't know. There's some theories that maybe he, just decided to get away. But, it's been years now, so I don't really kind of think that it was that. The friend Clint, what's up with him, refusing to take a lie detector test? Is that just taking basic precautions and hiring an attorney for your own protection and nothing more? Or is it something more sinister than that? Does he have something to hide? I know Clint has received a lot of backlash for not cooperating with the investigation. I believe that the girlfriend and Brian's dad, and I think Brian has a younger brother, I think all of them kind of have come out at a certain time or other and have said that they think that Clint at least knows more than what he's saying. I don't think they've really come out and say, I don't think they've accused him of anything. I think they've just simply said that they think he knows more than what he's saying. Lots of things and some things that just aren't, I'm not even going to go over it because I don't think it's really relevant. But one thing I do want to touch on is I found interesting was there was a picture that came out a few years after he had went missing, and it showed a man that looked homeless, and he was sitting on the sidewalk, and it looked just like Clint. Apparently, the police were notified, and I'm going to have to look more into that picture because if that's the case, if this person sitting on the sidewalk is in fact Clint, and he looks like he's homeless, did something happen to him in a mental capacity to where, he didn't maybe know who he was, or, something happened. I don't know. Maybe he didn't remember who he was. I believe that no activity has been, done on his bank account, credit cards, debit cards. I don't know. I don't think there's been any activity, no cell phone activity. Well, there was a situation. I guess the girlfriend was calling his cell phone. She was calling him every night for the first year that he went missing. And every night it went to voicemail, except for this one night about a year in, it rang 3 times. Now, she reported it and the phone company dismissed it as a glitch. But other than that, there's been no activity, that we're aware of. So if this homeless person is, or potentially could be him, it would, to me, indicate that there's something there maybe that happened mentally, and could he have snapped? Could something had just maybe went off, or maybe he, did leave the bar and injured himself, or fell and got up and didn't know who he was, or was confused, and but then it's like, God, wouldn't somebody have seen him? I think I read somewhere that this town or this city has the highest number of CCTV footage. They have cameras all over the place, and not one of those cameras on the street picked him up after 2 a.m. Just, odd. The last footage we have is him, going back into the bar at 2 a.m., getting to the top of the escalator, talking to a couple of women, and then kind of going off the screen. Now, those women were also, spoken to by the police. I don't think that there was anything indicating that they had anything to do with anything. They weren't asked to take a polygraph, but they were cooperative. We can't necessarily see if he goes into the bar, because he just kind of goes off camera. But it kind of is indicating that perhaps he went back into the bar. But then again, if the bar is getting ready to close, I'm just thinking to myself, if you're at a bar at 1:58 a.m. and they close at 2 a.m., chances are you're not going to get in. Did he go in there to grab a jacket? Did they let him in? Did they allow him in? Were the doors even unlocked at that point? Did they maybe lock the doors because it's almost 2 o'clock? What would he be going back into the bar at 2 a.m. for? I don't know. I'm just, there's a lot of things about this story that just doesn't make sense. So I kind of went longer than I anticipated to on the introduction. So Right off the bat, I want to ask if Brian Schaefer is alive. So I want to ask that one right away. So is Brian Schaefer alive? Brian Schaefer. We want to know what happened. March 31st, 2006. What happened March 31st, 2006? And are you still alive? So the way I do yes or no questions is if it has a positive connotation, if it's kind of a good vibe card, it would be a yes, and the opposite, would be a no. If it's kind of a, negative card or, kind of not so good, I would consider that to be a no. So that's what we're looking for. And then we have some of those gray cards that could kind of go either way. So hopefully we're going to get something definitive. Is Brian Schaefer alive? Okay, let's fan it out for this one. Okay, is Brian Schaefer alive? Is Brian Schaefer alive right here? Brian Schaefer alive. Okay, so the Six of Pentacles, to me, is not a bad card. It's not. It's really not. It's actually kind of more leaning towards one of the gray cards that I just mentioned. This could be a yes or a no. But it's not a bad card. This is the gifting of money or receiving or giving and receiving in exchange. And the scales, I always look whether or not the scales are balanced in a card. By the way, this is just my regular Rider-Waite deck. And I've got the Hoodoo Tarot deck as well. So I will use those as well. But this to me isn't necessarily a bad card, and I'm leaning towards yes on that. But let me draw another one to go with it. So is Brian Schaefer alive? Oh, the Emperor. I would say yes. To me, that indicates he's alive. Let's draw one more, just to be on the safe side. Is Brian Schaefer alive? Is Brian Schaefer alive? The Knight of Cups. I'm not getting anything here that is indicating that he isn't alive. Now the question is if he's alive, what happened to him and where did he go? Okay, so let's put these aside, and I'm gonna ask the cards to take us back to the night of March 31st at this bar, the ugly Tuna Saluna, and see what happened and see if we can kind of put the puzzle pieces together. Okay, so what happened that night? Okay. Having this pop out to me is almost like an embarrassment. It's somebody who's ashamed of what maybe they've done, or maybe they've done something, and they're, to me, that cloak, the fact that he's trying to hide his identity and hide his face, can indicate shame. So is this person embarrassed about what they've done? They don't necessarily, or is this person focused on what they've done and don't realize the potential still that they have behind them? So, okay. That's passion. Competition. Ooh, deceit. Well, we've got 2 6s, so we had this and we have this. Let me actually leave these out here so I can remember that I pulled these 3. Oh, okay, things aren't looking good. Damn. Let me pull 1, 2, 3. Do one more. 12. All right, so this doesn't, it's not the best. Let me move this deck here. It's not the best pull, honestly. We've got a couple of 5s in here, which isn't good. So let me put these next to each other. We've got these 2 5s. This is struggle and competition. I say it's not good, but it can be good because it could indicate that it is in fact true that he could be alive. So there's that. But, and it's, you know what? Honestly, with this 5 of Pentacles, when I told you about the picture that came out of a man who looked very, very similar to Brian Schaefer, if there was any card that would come out to confirm that, it would have been this card to me. This is a financial, some could argue physical obstacle or physical struggling card. So, you know, this would indicate, you know, you're not you're not in the best of your times, right? You've got some financial problems. You could have some health problems. You've got physical problems. You know, this guy here has some, you know, crutches. It looks like a foot's all bandaged up. This woman here looks barefoot. This picture of this guy, you know, I'm going to have to locate it and put it in here somehow. I feel like that's a possibility that Brian Schaefer is in fact alive, but he's not doing very well. I don't know what happened, but there was some sort of a competitive something going on in his life. You know, who was, to me, this is competition. And competition can sometimes equal jealousy. And, you know, I'm... Jealousy, competition. The question is how would he have gotten out? Where did he leave? Where did he exit from? This one here is deception. That's the 7 of Swords. That's the deception, right? We know that's the deception card, thievery card, trickster, but it's also the trickster. Like I just said, it's a trickster card. And he has a hat on. Now, I do remember reading somewhere where they said it was possible for Brian Schaefer to have left that bar and possibly put a hat on his head, maybe changed his clothes, maybe walked down and, you know, or walked out and nobody recognized him because, you know, they just didn't reckon. He just fit right in. This guy here has a hat on. He has a strange hat. And he's being a trickster. He's sneaking away. He's taking things that really don't belong to him, right? And if you, again, look at it here, I don't know if you can see it that well, but there's some people here in the background. It looks like there's a carnival or something taking place, and there's some people in the background. And so this guy here is kind of almost proud of himself for, you know, coming up here in broad daylight right in front of his buddies back there and taking things that don't belong to him and leaving and getting away with it. It's almost like he's, you know, he's like proud of being able to do that. So now I'm actually... I'm starting to question whether or not that's a possibility. Had you asked me that 5 minutes ago, I would have said no. I don't think he left on his own will or on his own free will. I really don't. But now seeing this, it's kind of making me wonder if that's a possibility because, you know, that to me, you know, that's a guy with a with a strange hat, sneaking away. But, you know, maybe things didn't go quite the way he expected because we've got some hard times here. And then there's still this air of competitiveness There's still competitiveness. So let's keep that in mind. We've got 2 pages. So we've got the 2 pages. That to me indicates young ideas. These are young people. It doesn't have to be necessarily people. It can be young ideas, young thoughts, young plans, young anything, okay? You know, this could indicate, like I said, I don't think it would indicate Brian or anybody in his group. Pages to me are a little bit younger than what Brian was. I feel like this represents an idea of something more than it does an individual. You know, so this could have been like a new thought in his mind, a new goal, a new plan, a new passion, a new desire that kind of struck him out of nowhere. You do have these little mounds of sand behind him, which to me are representing obstacles that he's going to have to go over. So yeah, he has these plans and he's got the passion and the drive to do it, but it's not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be some obstacles that he's going to have to overcome. Same thing here, the Page of Swords. Usually that kind of represents, acting before thinking, kind of. And sometimes you can, to me, this is a new idea, a new thought, a new possibility, a new desire, but not quite thinking it through yet. It's not really ready to act on quite yet. And then we have, to go back to that, is Brian contemplating something? Was he, in fact, thinking about leaving? But maybe didn't quite think it through, and maybe it wasn't the time yet. So that's kind of where I'm leaning at on that. Or maybe didn't expect to have as many obstacles with it as he did. Maybe it was something that wasn't planned to maybe something else happened along the way, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe he wanted to get away for a little while, but then something else just came in and just kind of destroyed everything, and it ruined the plan, and he really wasn't expecting it and didn't know how to respond or didn't know how to get out of it. And then we have, the King of Wands. Again, I don't know. I don't think this is Brian. I don't think this is Brian. This could potentially be Brian. This could potentially be Brian, as far as if we're looking at age. But this to me is, these wands here represent his passion, his will, his desire, his insides, what he truly, truly wanted to do in life. And I think that this pull is really kind of indicating that it is possible he wasn't doing what he truly wanted to do. Did he truly want to get married? Did he truly want to be a doctor? And I think one could argue that he maybe didn't. Apparently he kind of felt overwhelmed. He was kind of at his wit's end, with everything going on. His mom had just passed away. I think he really felt overburdened. This is really an overburdened card. And I truly do feel like that was how he felt that night. He just felt like he was done. He was just done. Between, I think, the finals, the mom passing away, perhaps maybe, I don't know if I want to use the word pressure to get married, but, he had a lot on his shoulders. And so I think these wands, here, here, and here, are mainly coming out and here. Kind of, if you look at this king here, the way he's kind of staring off and to the left, it makes me think that he's, kind of, maybe thinking about the past or thinking about other things that he would rather be doing. And this king here, he doesn't look very happy. He doesn't look like he's not smiling. He's just kind of almost in kind of a la land mode, and just there. And I kind of feel like it really does represent how Brian was feeling at that point. He was just there. He was just doing that stuff. but his mind was someplace else. His mind and his heart and his will and soul were someplace else, and it wasn't where he was at. This here, to me, is kind of, it can be considered a nostalgia card, or gifting of something, perhaps the helping of someone. I always think when I see this card, I think of a bigger sister or a brother and a younger sister, and this person or this older sibling maybe giving the flowers to the younger sibling to smell, or maybe just giving to them as a gift. A lot of people look at this as a nostalgic card, thinking about memories. And so I do kind of feel like that's coming up because of the mother. I do feel like, even though, like I said, 3 weeks is fresh. I do think that he was struggling with, memories of him and his mom. And that was also playing a role on his mind. He had a lot of things going on, I think, in his mind at this time. He was all over the place. And the reason why I say that is because of this, and I think that this was his feelings at that time too. Just overwhelmed with, sadness. I think this kind of represents what his soul was feeling that night. And I do feel like this here was his future, but he just couldn't, he just couldn't focus on that. He was too overwhelmed with everything else going on in his life that there was no, I don't think anybody could have went to him and said, dude, you've got your future ahead of you. You're going to be a doctor. You've got a beautiful girlfriend. Things are going to be okay. You're going to get through this. It's not always going to be like that. I don't know if that would have made a difference with him. I think at this point with this card here, I think he was really, really, really to the point he was just overwhelmed and drained. Something happened. There was some trickery. There was some deception and sneakiness here. Something's going on, though, with that card. Okay, so let's draw a few more on this deck. The Seven of Swords really makes me feel like it's potentially possible that he could have left and he could have changed his identity and put a hat on and walked out of that bar, never to be seen again. Is that what happened, Brian? Is that what happened? What happened? Tell us what happened. Did you leave the bar that night on your own will? Did you leave the bar that night on your own will? Yeah, okay. So we've got the moon. So we've got secrets. Queen of Pentacles. Okay. So we've got secrets and we've got Three of Pentacles. So there's more to the story than we know. There's something else missing. I do believe that Clint knows more than what he is saying. I don't necessarily now believe that it's in a sinister fashion. I think he knows more, and I'm starting now to wonder if maybe he refused to take that polygraph because, maybe him and Brian are in on something, and he just doesn't, maybe he told his friend that he wasn't going to say anything, and perhaps maybe, I'm just kind of wondering about Clint now. But I kind of feel like I'm really, really kind of leaning towards this man walked off. What I'm concerned about is what happened to him when he walked off. Is he okay because of this Five of Pentacles and because of that picture of him, if it's him, this man who appears to be homeless and not doing very well, sitting on the sidewalk? What happened? Because that's not the life you would assume that he would choose for himself, right? You'd think that he'd go off and he'd go to some island and become join a band or something like that. That wouldn't be the life that you would think that he would choose. So what happened between wanting to leave or leaving. What happened here, between here? What's going on between this and here? So he leaves, right? He sneaks off. You know, he's thinking about his mom. He's thinking about his past. He comes across some obstacle. You know, maybe some sort of fight or something to do with other people, and then boom, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, he is homeless and doesn't have anything. What happened? There's so much here in this little story here with these 4 cards. Lots of things going on here in the middle. That's what we don't know. You know, did he have some sort of a mental breakdown where he just kind of forgot who he was? Did he get into a fight? Did somebody hit him? Did he get knocked out? Did he not remember who he was after? The possibilities are endless. So let's just keep those in mind. And now we've got secrets. 10 of Pentacles, that is, that's kind of like the I always think of it as this wealthy family that has been wealthy for generations. It's a generational card. It's a family card. It's, kind of sometimes I think of it even as ancestors. But this is kind of like that well-to-do, affluent family. And to me, it represents, several members of the family, the generation. So what's going on with this? Why is this coming out? We've got the thing about using the Rider-Waite Tarot is that there's not a whole lot on the imagery that we can pull. There is, but not different stuff. Like if you were to pull this in this deck, it's going to be a completely different thing, and it kind of brings out more perspectives for you. But we've got a couple of dogs. We've got a husband and wife, an older man. We've got the child hiding behind mom. We've got this archway. We've got this, it kind of makes me feel like the home is kind of like in a gated community, and maybe you have to go through this archway to enter into the home. So is that something that we need to be paying attention to? Is, there's something to do with the architecture going on. Let me see here. Yeah, so let's keep that in mind. I'm not sure. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. This could simply be his mother. I kind of feel like it's his mother coming through again. I think this is his mother too. I think that was him, thinking back on the memories, because, obviously you do that. If you lose somebody, you're thinking back on every single memory you had with them. And so I kind of feel like maybe this is also the mother. I would have expected her to come out as an Empress or a Queen of Cups, not necessarily the Queen of Pentacles. But how many Pentacles do we have? We have quite a few. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 Pentacles. So there's some money coming in. There's some money going on. Maybe it's not so much the mother. Maybe it's the focus on money, finances. He did not use his credit card or his bank account or anything like that. There was no indication that he, used anything from his, I don't know if he had a savings account or how much money he had, but we've got this exchange, and I know I pulled this for our yes or no question, but let's just use it for a second. We've got exchange. We've got somebody giving someone money. Did someone give him money? Is there someone in his life that had some money? Did someone have some money in their life, and, were they able to give him the money that he needed to go off and start something new? Without making it look like, because you can't go off and start a new life with nothing, no money. You just can't do that. I don't know how you would do it. But perhaps if maybe someone gave him some money, that would make it a little bit easier. And, could that person be Clint? That's kind of what I'm leaning. And then we have the Three of Pentacles, which is teamwork. Just so happens that it was Brian, Meredith, and Clint that night. And so this is teamwork. This is all three working together as a team. They're all from different walks of life, but they're all contributing equally to this partnership or this whatever it is they're doing. Okay, they each have something unique to bring to the table, and it takes all three of them to get it done. And I'm just wondering, is this Brian, Clint, and Meredith? The only problem with that is that Meredith, took a lie detector's test and she passed. If she had known something, I would assume that would have come up with it, unless she was involved in it, but perhaps wasn't aware of it. Did Clint have Meredith there to act as an alibi? Maybe she was an alibi that night and she had no idea she was even an alibi. Maybe Clint and Brian kind of planned this together. Clint, maybe, I don't know his financial status, maybe he had money enough to give to him. Maybe this was a plan. Maybe he knew that Brian was going to try to disguise himself and sneak out and leave. And maybe Clint was like, well, you know what? I don't want to look like I did something to you, so let me have somebody come along so that I can have an alibi myself. I would really like to know the conversations between Clint and Meredith while they were standing on the street waiting for Brian to come back out. I could see, I'm thinking of it like this, like Meredith saying, well, maybe we should call him. Maybe we should go back in. Maybe we should go to his apartment. And maybe Clint is like, no, he's fine. He's okay. Don't worry about it. He's done this to me before. He'll be fine. He'll sleep it off. Let's just go home. I know him. He went back home. How was that conversation going? Was maybe one of them more concerned than the other? I kind of feel like this thing was a partnership and Meredith was part of it, but she might not have been aware of it. Maybe she was brought along that night to be, in fact, an alibi for Clint because Clint knew that it was going to be kind of iffy. And maybe he went ahead and refused to take the lie detector test because obviously he didn't want to say what was really going on and that would make him fail. That's kind of where I'm leaning because I don't know. This is three people. This is three people working together. I kind of feel like, but in order for Meredith to pass that lie detector's test, unless she has some sort of crazy, military clearance type ability to, take these lie detector tests and be able to manipulate the outcome, she would have to not know anything about it in order to pass. I mean, I know they're not accurate, but I'm kind of thinking that this was something between Clint and Brian. That's what I'm going to ask. Is this a plan between Clint and Brian? And where is Brian now? Where's Brian Schaefer now? And quickly I do want to add that I read somewhere that somebody had interviewed Clint years later, and he came out and he said a quote that I thought was curious. He made the comment, he said, "Don't ask me, it's Brian who's causing the pain for his family," or Brian is the one that's causing the pain for his family. And that makes me wonder if to me that indicates that something. If Brian is causing pain for his family, Brian has to be alive to be doing that. He has to be gone from his own choice, right? So it was a very suspicious statement. It makes you feel like he knows something more about the situation, and maybe he's kind of putting that out there a little bit. And I'm now starting to wonder if there is more validity to that. Okay, is this something that you guys planned? Is this a plan to leave? Ooh. Okay. Oh, shit. The devil. Okay. Three of baskets. So this is the Three of Cups. This is, again, this is them that night. That is them that night celebrating. But that's the devil. Daughter of Coins. So this is the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, man. The grandchildren. What is this gonna mean? Okay. Okay. 17. Okay. It's not a bad one. It's the Star. Okay. Let's keep going here. Four of Wands. Another celebration. This can sometimes indicate marriage. Son of Knives. So we've got a Page and a Knight. And then let's go a couple more. Oh, we've got the Five of Pentacles again. The Four of Pentacles, the Four of Coins. Okay, so right away we've got this Five of Pentacles again. So this is that obstacle, that health struggle, that financial struggle. I'm wondering if maybe this was a planned operation, but it's possible that something went drastically wrong with it after it was put into action. Maybe there was something that he didn't foresee that happened. Maybe there was some, mental capacity situation going on. But I don't know what's going on, but there is financial struggle coming up in both of these pulls. So we had the Five of Pentacles in the last one. We have the Five of Coins in this one, the same card. And this is somebody wearing raggedy clothing, right? His clothes are all messed up. He's barefoot. This is somebody who is not in a good condition, financially especially. So, and then we've got the Devil. But look at these. We've got the Devil on top of the grandchildren, the Star. Usually when I pull cards, everybody is different. But if I pull a spread like this and I have all these, let's say, good cards, and then I pop the Devil on top of it, that just kind of gives it like this dark aura to me for all of it. It kind of takes away the purity of it to me. It just kind of puts this cloud over everything. There's something that he came into that wasn't good. This is the Devil. This can be anything from any kind of deviant behavior or addictions or anything. It can be money problems, sexual problems, drinking problems, gambling, anything like that. Okay, anything like that is this card here. So, and then we've got the Sun, and that is dreams, aspirations, your goals. When you look at this little flower, when I look at that, it's like planting a seed and starting to see it develop. You're starting to see you're starting to see some growth, right? Some life. You're putting your ideas into life, and so I kind of wonder if is this the situation that he had created so far? Maybe he was starting to see the outcome of his hard work. He had went to school, he got his first degree, now he was in medical school, he was possibly going to get married. His life was starting to develop. I kind of feel like that's what this card is saying, that this was representing what he was doing in his time in his life at that point. I do think that because he was truly just at the beginning, and this flower is awfully small. It's coming, it's pretty, it's starting to develop, but it's small. And so I do feel like that is representing him at that time in his life. And I don't know what the hell this is, but something interrupted this. And I'm a little bit getting confused because I'm kind of getting this vibration that he left voluntarily. But with this coming in, it makes me wonder, it makes me question the voluntary part. I don't know. If this hadn't have popped up, I would have probably been able to say, yeah, this was his own doing. You know, maybe him and Clint planned on something. But now I'm like, maybe something else. Maybe that was still the plan, but maybe something came in. Maybe something else happened. We've got the Three of Baskets. To me, this is that night. This is the three of them. Whatever happened, you know, we obviously know it happened that night, but there's something else about that night. There's something else about that night that we don't have the information of. Something else is going on. And then we have the Knight of the Knight of Pentacles. You know, this kind of makes me feel like it's one of the guys. It makes me feel like this could either be Brian or it could be Clint. Which one was the one that had... I kind of feel like this is a Pentacles card. This is money. I kind of feel like Clint gave him some money. I wonder what Clint's financial status was at that point. You know, remember in the Rider-Waite, we pulled that 10 of Pentacles. You know, is Clint wealthy? Does he come from a wealthy family? If Brian called him on the phone and said, hey, you know, I need 10 grand. Can I get 10 grand? Would Clint be the type of friend or person where he could literally get 10 grand for him or more or something like that? I'm just throwing a number out, but is this the type of person that could do something like that for a friend and make it look like he didn't use his card or, you know, his bank or anything like that? Maybe that's kind of where I'm leaning. And then to me, this is the marriage. This is the marriage coming up. The Four of Sticks, the Four of Wands. That's always the celebration card. And so I do think that this relationship in his life is coming through. I don't feel like he wanted to get married. I really don't. I don't feel like it. I think he was kind of pressured into that. I think it was on his mind. I think, hold on, I'll have to draw a couple more on that one because I don't think he did. And then we have the Sun, which is the Page of Swords. We had the Page of Swords in the Rider-Waite, so definitely acting before you're prepared. Whatever he was planning, he put into action before it was ready to be put into action, if that makes sense. I don't think if he was planning on leaving, he had all of his ducks in a row. It was not, this, to me, this says that he wasn't ready. He thought he was. He thought he had everything. This is like, if you look at this card here, this is like a guy who's carrying a knife, right? And he looks like he's ready to fight. He looks like he's ready to put up a fight. But in reality, he's not experienced enough. He doesn't know what he's getting himself into. He's not prepared. He's not planned for what's to come. And so I kind of feel like if there was some sort of a plan that he was putting into action, he wasn't quite ready to pull it off yet. And maybe because of that, something else happened. And then all hell broke loose. And now there's something going on. And then we have, again, we have more money. We have more money coming up. We've got the Four of Coins, the Four of Pentacles. This is being frugal. This is saving. This is being tight with your money, keeping your money close to your chest, okay? So, you know, this is a person that doesn't want to spend. Let me see. I haven't seen this card yet. What is that here? What is that? This is one of the cards that I need to read about in this deck because I love all the personal stories behind each one. So I'm curious to see this one, but he's wearing a cross. He's got a hat on. He's got some feathers. He's I don't know what's up with the stick, but is that a chicken? I think that's a chicken actually behind him, a chicken or something like that. And then he's got his bag of monies, or his bag of money attached to his suspender. So just by the card itself, this is saving money or being frugal with money. Something's going on with money. All right, what's going on with the money? And what is that Four of Sticks? Can you get clarity on the Four of Sticks? Four of Sticks, and then let's money. All right, so when I asked for clarity on the Four of Sticks or the Four of Wands, I pulled the Ace of Coins. This is a money opportunity, guys. This is literally your piece of the pie. This is a new opportunity of money, potential of money. There's too much money coming up in this pull for me to not think that there's some money involved in it somehow. I don't know what's going on with the money, but it is there. Piece of the pie. Getting a piece of the pie. The garden, we'll finish that off in a second. We've got the Seven of Sticks, so the Seven of Wands. This is defensiveness. Is that something to do with this? I'm kind of really, guys, I'm really to the point to where I feel like this person planned, him and Clint planned for him to leave. I think he was overwhelmed with everything that was going on in his life. I don't think he was doing what he wanted to in life. I don't know if he was really ready to settle down and get married. I don't know, but I kind of feel like maybe he did try to leave, and I'm wondering if there was some money borrowed. Maybe he borrowed some from Clint. I don't know. That's just an idea. But something happened. I don't know if he came across foul play afterwards. I don't know if something happened. Maybe he did something. Maybe somebody did something to him, but he didn't end up in the position that he thought he was going to. Something happened to him. Something interrupted his plans. Because I feel like there's two things going on here in this reading. There's the plan to leave, and then there's what actually happened to him after he left. And I don't think the second part was planned. He came across the devil. He came across something dark. And I don't even think that Clint knows about it. I think that Clint just assumes that he left with his plan. And that's it. And I kind of at this point doubt that Clint even knows what the hell happened to him. I think that he literally, this would be a so sad situation if this guy, maybe had a mental break for, a couple of weeks and decided to go off and, take a vacation and get his head right, and then come back and kind of deal with all of his problems and issues. And goes to do that and has all intentions of returning, and then comes across foul play. Something happens to him and he has no opportunity to come back and tie up all those loose ends. Is it something like that? I do feel like he's alive, though. I do feel like he's alive. What is this here? This is fighting. This is defensive. This is trying to it's like you're pushed up against the wall. You've got a lot of things working against you. You're really trying to defend yourself, against quite a few people, right? 7 to be specific. But, I feel like something happened. And then we've got the World. So we've got endings. We've got endings and we've got beginnings. It's kind of, sad to say. It's kind of like, I feel like definitely his life that night ended. And I think a new one started, but I don't think it's what he had planned. Let me just, oh my God, I'm at an hour and 4 minutes. This is way more, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be as far as the reading is concerned. A lot of stuff going on. Let's just do, oh my God, 4 minutes. Where is Clint today? Let's just do a couple more. Where is Clint, or not Clint, but Brian? Where is Brian Schaefer? Where is Brian Schaefer today? Where is Brian Schaefer today? Oh. Okay. Okay, well, this doesn't look good. Where is Brian Schaefer today? We have heartbreak. You know, if we go back to that picture that I mentioned, and I'm hoping by now I have the picture that I found it and I inserted it into the video, but if we go back to that picture that somebody brought out that looked like Brian, and he looked like he could have been homeless, you know, or just not in a good situation, this would definitely kind of go with that. I do feel like, honestly, this is Brian. I feel like that picture was Brian. I don't think he planned on getting into that position or that situation. I don't think that was the intention. I'm wondering if something happened. I kind of do feel like there's two things. Like I said, there's two things going on. I think he did plan on leaving that night, but I think he came across something that really hindered his plans. You know, there's the defensive. Was he attacked? Was he physically attacked? Did he get knocked out? Did he have a head injury? Did he get up and not know who the hell he was? And, you know, that has been his life. I don't know. I mean, things like that happen. You know, you hear crazy stories like that. Is that what happened in this case? But this is heartbreak. This is not good. You know, this is, yeah. And then we've got the High Priestess. So we've got some mystery around this case. We've got, wow, look at this 3. We've got the 3 of Swords, the High Priestess, and then the Fool. He is not, to me, this kind of goes back to those pages, the Page of Swords, the Page of Knives, the Page of, can't remember if we pulled the Pentacles. I think we pulled the Knight of Pentacles. To me, this Fool kind of goes back and points to those page cards. Remember I said it's kind of like, you know, he thought he had a plan, but it just wasn't quite there. He didn't have it really thought through. He wasn't really prepared for all the possibilities that could happen. And this right here would kind of solidify that and pretty much say that, you know, he did not think it through. There were some other things that happened that he didn't consider were happening or would happen, and part of that is that devil. I do feel like he was leaving, and you know, in the midst of that, he came across something pretty severe. I do think he's alive. I kind of do feel like maybe that picture of him is actually of him. You know, but this High Priestess, you know, that is, to me, I almost want to say it tells me that somebody knows. Honestly, that's the way I get it with this card right now. That's the way it's making me feel. Someone knows. Someone knows something. I think that Clint knows a little bit more than what he's saying. I think that there was some sort of a plan between the two of them, possibly even to the point to where, like I said, he loaned Brian money. I do feel like there is some information that that Clint has that he has kept to himself all these years. But I don't think that he knows really you know, the outcome of necessarily what happened to Brian. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it there. Kind of a, you know, interesting case, really interesting case. I'm sorry I took an hour and, oh my God, 9 minutes. Yeah, this is kind of another one of those videos where it's like, you know, I could literally pull cards for another hour. But I'm going to, you know, get some of these pictures. I'm going to Google some of these pictures and get these pictures in here. I'm hoping that I can find that one of the man that was sitting on the sidewalk, because I really, really want to look at it. I haven't seen it. I just watched a video where they actually put that in the video, but I haven't seen that photo itself. So I'm going to see if I can get a hold of that and put that in the video so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. I kind of wonder if that is him, and perhaps there's something that happened that kind of messed him up, and he doesn't maybe know who he is. I kind of feel like he's alive. I think that's what the cards indicated tonight. So if nothing else, I do feel like there's a good possibility that this man is still out there somewhere. So that is it for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you next week. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you. Bye.